Okay, now coming back to the recently concluded that there was a 48-hour ride that you had done in the indoor trainer. I wanted to ask you about this. I think you had done in the first day itself, I think you had done more than 700 kilometers on the indoor trainer. And total distance was, I think, around 1,300 odd kilometers in
Yes,
48
yes.
hours. So what was it all about? What was it for? And if there's anything that the people over here can also help, what would one?
Yeah, actually, it was a fundraising ride for our this Corona warriors, and so we thought, why don't we do something indoor? And so I had never done something like this of fundraising, indoor cycling. Because of this whole lockdown, actually, I was training a lot on the trainer, and so I thought, why don't I do something like this and see whether I can do something in this particular situation also.
Right.
And so that is how we actually came out with this concept. Okay, we'll do with 48 hours and we'll do live streaming on Facebook, and it will be exciting for people. And so that is why we planned it that way. We did live streaming and we showed it live the entire 48 hours to people that this is how you can do something nice and unique even in lockdown also. So it's, yeah, of course it's lockdown is depressing and all, and even depressing for me also. So it was something nice. I kept myself engaged, and because I had to prepare for something like this, I had to train, then I have to do all this technology setup, and okay, this is how the live streaming will be done, this, that, all the things. And then we did and we needed a crowdfunding platform. So some of my friends said, okay, when you do the ride, we will talk about the crowdfunding and all. We will share the stream where as much as we can, and then we will try to what do you say, get more and more people involved with this. Means just even somebody watching it for 5 minutes is good enough, because it is something unique and people will get a lot of positive energies and vibes out of it. So that was the entire objective.
And like there were, I think, a few people who were contributing into it. Some corporates was also brought in. And so, how much amount was collected for the whole initiative, and where was the funds going to?
No corporate giving us anything.
Okay.
uh, we actually contacted some corporates that we can put your logo and all in this live streaming,
Okay.
but you should contribute something towards this fundraising.
Okay.
But we didn't got much response. So we actually collected some 2.2 lakh rupees,
Great. Okay.
and then we are giving it to Maharashtra Police,
Okay.
because they are actually the police department is as in forefront as anybody in the entire this whole machinery. So, and the police department is actually one of the most neglected departments also in the government, because they don't produce any revenue. So so we thought we should give it to Maharashtra Police.
Okay. Great. So, is there, if there's anything that here the people over here can also do, so please go ahead. I mean, if the funding is over, then okay. If not over, then I think I can share the link or something to all the people over here.
Yeah, you can share the link if somebody would like to. It is still open.
Okay. Okay.
You can actually give it. If people would like to contribute, it's good. It's, yeah, and there are some questions here in the chat.
Yep.
So, do you want me to answer them?
Let's go to the questions. There are quite a lot actually. So we did go through a few of them, but feel free to pick up any that you would like to. There were questions about whether your Miles and Milers will have any chapters opening up in Pune, Bangalore, etc. So do you have plans for that? That was one of the questions.
Yeah, presently no such plans, but yeah, you can contact me. I can help you train if you want to do some training on ultra cycling or marathon or Ironman. So I can presently no plans, but yeah, I have actually some uh, bigger plans. Like actually, I want to uh, promote physical activity itself in India, and I want to promote non-motorized transport. Non-motorized transport is walking, running, and cycling. So, and I see a massive opportunity in this COVID epidemic actually,
Yes.
because what we never thought will happen in our lifetime can actually happen. So all the
Each time it
cities,
happened.
yeah, so all the cities in India can actually become cycling cities. They can become health promoting cities. So it is extremely important that actually we can create these cycling cities. So I'm happy, like so very soon I will share also some things like what we are actually working on, and then people can join us from all different cities.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Super. Um,
Just 1 second.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming back to this, there was also one more question oh, by the way, we are actually looking forward to whatever the new plan is. So we would love to just join in. Uh, Coming back to the question, there was one question about how you took the leap of faith and moving from the corporate job that you were in before into sports. So what did it take?
Yeah, I think yeah, I was fed up. I was fed up being a chief operating officer and doing corporate job. But actually, it was not a corporate job. It was I was doing a lot of field work, and I used to almost visit a lot of villages because all the work was in villages. And so, but I took that job as a challenge, and I did that job for almost 2 years. And I was working in villages in Uttar Pradesh, in Karnataka, in Hubli, Gadag districts, and then in Nizamabad districts in Telangana and all. So, but yeah, I used to miss out sports and sports training and all. And then over a period of time, I thought I should do something in sports, like try to become a sports entrepreneur or something like that. And then maybe one day it I think it builds up, and then over a period of 2 years, then I thought this is the only time I can try out this thing. Maybe after 10 years, I will just maybe just I will uh, I will be sorry that I didn't try it out at that time. So I left the job. I came to Nagpur, and I said, okay, now I will create my own organization which trains people, which organizes sports events, and which promotes physical activity. And let's see whether I can uh, make some profession out of it. So that was the only way. So yeah, it is just a leap of faith. It is just a back of envelope calculation, and I always believe in this back of envelope calculations, because if you do too many calculations, you will never be able to do anything in your life. So similar, like the way I did RAM, I took a leap of faith. People were supporting me, and I said, okay, maybe why not me? I can also try and be that guy who was never, because nobody had from India had done RAM at that time successfully. And then Trans Siberian was like same way. Okay, I have done RAM, After I know how to do 5,000 kilometer cycling, I do more training for 4-5 months. I can do 9,000 kilometer. That was a simple calculation. 5,000 plus 4 months of training, I will do 9,000. So, but yeah, Trans-Siberian uh, was actually a very big gamble actually. When I went there and when I actually got into the race, I realized how difficult the race is. It is means when I was there, all the racers are all are Europeans and Russians, and they are so much acclimatized to the conditions over there, to the climbs over there, to the way the hills are over there. In India, we don't have that kind of terrain at all. So it is very difficult for somebody from Southeast Asia and this going there and trying to do a race like Trans-Siberian, because we are just not used to that kind of weather conditions, that kind of terrain, even their food.
Yeah.
So it is a big challenge, because nourishing yourself is also a very big, fueling is a very big challenge in those conditions.
And but of course, there were a lot of people who joined, who started, but there were very few who actually finished, especially in Trans-Siberian. Uh, Ram
Yeah,
probably
because the
finished.
race itself is so difficult.
Yeah. So how many people were there at the start line?
Actually, in Trans-Siberian,
Yeah.
yeah, the year which we did is only 6 guys.
Okay.
6 guys were selected. Means they were found worth enough to be
Yes. You.
invited into this kind of a race, and then they were asked, because it is a massive race, and we had a support team of 85 people
Wow.
around us.
Okay.
So it is a so amazingly organized race. Means everything is means you have bike mechanic support, you have medical support, you have physio, you have catering team, you have driver team, you have everything. Then you have a race director. See, in RAM, you never see the race director. In Trans-Siberian, your race director is always there in front of you. So any problem, whatever, you can actually directly talk to him. So that is the best thing about Trans-Siberian, and the hospitality of Russians and all is amazing. Means I felt so much at home in Russia than in Race Across America, because it's a, and we still continue to talk to each other, chat with each other. Means I am more connected with the Trans-Siberian team, because they always uh, send you messages and all. But not in RAM. There is nothing like it. Means we never get any personal message from the Race Across America race director or something like that.
Okay.
But we always get it from the Trans-Siberian Extreme race director. So,